So I don't know if you guys remember this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This Oakville teacher, Warmington. Oakville shop teacher wears fake breasts in classroom, but not out shopping. This is by Joe Warmington. And this is why you got to say God bless these conservatives, because they really do believe in themselves so much. The guy made his own last name. He put his last name in the title of the piece. Are you crazy? It's very Trump. You know what I mean? Trump would put out a thing being like, breaking news. Trump said this. And then, but it's like, no, you're saying it. So then you just put by Joe Warmington. That's it. The guy you're supposed to put here breaking, like urgent, something like that. But he just puts his own last name. I kind of like it. I kind of think it's a good move for me as a comedy writer and as like more of a joke podcaster. But it's weird for like a real journalist to start their article with their own last name, all caps. Interesting. Anyway, whatever. I would put. And this is the art that I'm trying to work on. I would make Oakville shop teacher wears fake. I'd make the fake all caps. I'd make the breasts all caps in classroom, but not, and then make the not all caps. I would go breasts all caps, not all caps. Someone should teach like a how to tweet like Trump class, because this guy clearly, he got the one thing from Trump, which is like so cocky to make his own name the thing. But anyway. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anyone else excited? Anyone else rock hard? Yeah, like those nips. Oh yeah, baby. One time I was shooting a sketch in Toronto, and for the sketch, I dressed up as a girl. This is like 10, 20 years ago. And I dressed up as a girl, right? And it was on this park island. When I say island, it wasn't water. It was surrounded by road. And we're in the middle shooting the sketch. We're both dressed up like these Indian moms. It's me and another dude. We're dressed, like when you're new on YouTube, you want to do something dressed up as your mom. I have a sketch like that. on my other YouTube channel. Anyway, this is like a sketch we're shooting out on the street. We're dressed as my mom. And then some guy, full beard, dressed like this, starts driving around the park because it was small. So he drives around it. It's near Spadina and Bloor. There's a park near there. I forgot what the street's called. He starts driving around. And he's like, oh yeah, you like dressing up like a girl? Oh yeah, give me some of those tatas. Oh yeah. And he's drove around like 7 times and then he drove away. And I was so scared, dude. I was so scared that he'd stop and then we'd just have like some kind, but it was middle of the day. What's he gonna do? Like, he can't do anything. But I think the guy saw us shooting the sketch, ran home, put on an outfit like this, came back and circled us 6 times. Can you guys see this? Yes, very good. Steven says, looks as bad as my ex-wife. Yeah, Steven, you rock hard like me. Who else is rock hard? Well, if you're not, you're a bigot. Gotcha. Transgender Oakville Trafalgar teacher Kayla Lemieux in shop class, Twitter. It's the appropriate word now that a male transitioning, see this, transitioning? This is so conservative. Have respect and don't put transition. High school teacher who identifies as female was reportedly spotted in public not wearing the infamous Z-cup prosthetic breasts, blonde wig, tights, and glasses. Instead, the Oakville Trafalgar High School shop teacher was recently returning home from shopping dressed with the artificial breast in a t-shirt and winter vest, dressed without the artificial breast in a t-shirt and winter vest, with full-length sweatpants and sneakers while carrying a bag and a box of pet food from a store, according to the New York Post. Wow, New York Post got this? Come on, man. This is a Canadian story. Ottawa doesn't have someone on the ground to even get this guy. They had to go to New York Post. Come on. This wasn't a breast reduction or a haircut, but a breast and hair removal. This was the authentic look of a man named Kerry Lemieux, which is how this teacher was referred to prior to this school year when he became Kayla Lemieux and referred to as she or her. Lemieux was reportedly captured on camera by a Toronto freelance photographer hired by the New York Post, who also assigned a reporter to stake out the controversial teacher in off-duty hours to get better images, rather than the sneaky photos students have snapped in the hallways under risk of suspension if they were caught. Wow, so they're trying to make it out like because the students couldn't do the God's work themselves, because the students couldn't sneak the photos and do God's work of catching a trans person themselves, the New York Post was good enough to pay a reporter and pay a professional to get it done. Trans teacher with Z-size prosthetic breasts, dressed as man outside of school, neighbor says. Look at that photo. That photo is like, you got me. This guy is 100% a conservative, and he did this as a protest. And I just don't understand, and this is going to be the theme of today. I don't like protesting a protest. You have your cause. There's enough bad things happening in the world, so you should have a cause. Your cause shouldn't be, I don't like their cause. I like the status quo. I love the government. That is not allowed to be your cause. You should say, go out and fight for what you believe in, which is something, but I do feel like this anti-trans movement is a bit of conservative hysteria. That's kind of where I'm at on it, but we'll get in. I'm going to come back to the comments in a second. It turns out Lemieux has been sneaking around dressed as a man. The Post got the picture, and now so does everybody else. Rather than wait for the Halton District School Board to finalize its professional attire dress code. Sorry, I'm going to turn off this music because it's repeated like 19 times. It's enough. Rather than wait for the Halton District School Board to finalize its professional attire dress code, they should tell Lemieux if he's able to attend to personal business dressed as a man, he can go to work that way. The board should also stop bending to the woke mob, handcuffing them, and end this circus once and for all. Jeez Christ, who said that? Is that just is that just Warmington's opinion? I guess that's Warmington. Okay, fine, right? Because I don't see quotes around it. In light of this new information, the HDSB is obliged to complete a thorough investigation and assessment of the teacher, said the parents group Students First Ontario. Right. Students First is going to be for sure a conservative group, right? Students First. Come on. For the safety of the students and to minimize further disruption, Lemieux must be removed from the classroom immediately. This guy, man, what? That's what I'm saying. This is one conservative doing the publicity stunt, and then all the other conservatives have to report on it. Is it really good for society? To protest it, I don't know. I think they're making a hysteria here, but we're going to come back to the comments in a second because I think CEB Applejack, who has been removed from Twitter for his views several times, but he's back on Twitter now. Applejack, okay? We get him regularly. He's wild. He goes off. And he's obviously trying to bring in some some concern, let's say. The parents group has from the beginning also noted that while there is a board edict forbidding female students in the school from showing any nipples through their clothing, when it comes to Lemieux, there has been no issue with the display of the oversized protrusions coming from the apparatus worn in the school. The double standard, hypocrisy, and madness has been off the charts in this bizarre story. Yeah, you gotta be consistent on the rules. You know what I mean? You gotta be consistent on the rules. Okay, so if they already have a no nips policy, right, for the young girls in the high school girls, they already have said young nips. It's on the books. It's on the record. Just apply it. You know what I mean? Like you could have solved this problem because look at this, man. Like even in this one, you can kind of see them. But in this one, this is a lot. This is a lot. You know what I mean? And because they are fake, I think they're making, you know what? I got to give 1 point to the Ottawa Sun. I got to give 1 point because that's a fair point. It's a double standard. Despite an enormous backlash from students and parents, Lemieux has been given all of the accommodation in the world to dress as a woman to meet desired needs to be comfortable. But when it comes to going out in public during private time, the accoutrements are not necessary at all, after all. Lemieux has been dressing in fetish attire when in front of the children, in a school, or on a skydiving adventure. But when alone in public, the alter ego can be put away. Dude, the guy even did it skydiving. 100% he's a conservative. Oh my God. I had no idea. Why? Skydiving already looks so silly. It's like when you go skydiving, because you got to make like some kind of face like that.
Wait up, how you feeling? Ready to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Yes, let's go!
When conservative men don't get married, they just become dangerous. And this is what has happened. This is a conservative man who got older, mad about women, mad about woke culture. And he's like, you know what? I'm doing it. I got nothing else to do. No wife, no kid. Nothing to do. I'm going to do a stunt. I'm doing a publicity stunt. That's what my theory on it. And this is not to downplay what trans people go through. I do support the cause, but I think this is a conservative on conservative problem. I think this person is a conservative. She, however they want to identify. I think they are conservative, and then they might be doing this as a publicity stunt to get attention, and then they're giving fodder to all these conservative outlets to make a huge deal out of this. But I'm going to get to your comments in a minute. That's oh, lost your glasses. Dude. Imagine like going on the trip and the guy, and like at some point there's a complication with the boobs. They're like, you got to take off the prosthetics. You can't. There's no way we're going to get the parachute. And then that would be transphobic. In other words, the students, teachers, school administration, the board, and the public have been punked. The joke is on them. This, however, is no joke anymore. It's disturbing that the teacher would choose to wear the inappropriate sexualized attire primarily in the classroom setting and not in other aspects of their life. Well, they did the skydiving, but the skydiving seems like a little bit publicity stunt on that too. Sorry. You know what I mean? Being a shop, like getting the photos in shop, like this is because in today's social media world, it's not that easy to pop up a publicity stunt. So you got to go all the way with it. So I think I think it's a conservative activist. If it's not, no offense, but I think it is. And they're trying to make the point, and they got older, didn't get married, even though they believe in all this like traditional marriage and whatever. And then they start thinking that like, oh, it's because of woke culture. It's because of this and that. And like men aren't men anymore. So I'm going to slap on some tig old biddies and teach a high school class. And then that'll teach them. And then I'll show the whole society their hypocrisy. And now I think this person's stuck. That's kind of where that's okay. And I hope if it's not true, then I don't mean any insult to them. I support trans rights and I support the community. It's disturbing that the teacher would choose to wear inappropriate sexualized attire primarily in the classroom, not in other aspects of their life. Well, skydiving. Said a parent who stays anonymous for fear of backlash towards students whose parents complain, and also out of concern for being falsely characterized as transphobic. But now that is clear. Lemieux picks and chooses when to dress as a trans female, and the parents say the charade has got to stop or be stopped. Well, we could all be walking into another trap right here, because by calling it a charade, it might be like too much of an insult, and now we're screwed. The HDSB has yet to respond. With the cat out of the bag showing Lemieux has been wearing the wig and breast as a costume, Premier Doug Ford and Education Minister Stephen Lecce would be within their rights to assign a third-party investigation to find out who has been aiding and abetting in this obfuscation of the truth. Aiding and abetting? Just cool it. This is Warmington. What is he talking about? The truth is the teacher nicknamed Busty Lemieux by students wears the prosthetic breast and wig in the classroom on school time, but not in the store on private time. Listen, man, you guys are all thick as thieves, Ottawa son. And I think that person is also a conservative activist, and they're doing this on purpose. That's my theory. What do you guys think? And the moral of the story is, you are loved because you are loved. Such is the nature of love and kindness. Okay? So now that I've done my karmas, make sure you do your karmas. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and sign up for meditation. Ascension is upon us, foolish. Sign up for meditation immediately. Ha! Am I still here?